Well, Joe Biden not only created the crisis at our southern border, but like any other criminal, he's now aiding and abetting the illegally smuggling operations, covering up the total number of illegal border apprehensions by Customs and Border Patrol. Can you believe this, folks? For example, in October, 8,000 Haitian migrants crossed the southern border in Del Rio, Texas. But sources within the Border Patrol claim that since these migrants were never technically apprehended, they were not included in October's numbers. I mean, that is insane to me. Here's another loophole for the Biden administration to cover up their crimes against America, we'll call them. Illegal aliens apprehended by the Texas Department of Public Safety are processed on state charges, not federal charges, which spares them from being included in the Border Patrol's monthly apprehension numbers. This is exactly like when it was under Trump, they're being housed in tents. Now under Biden, they're soft-shelled structures. But joining me now to discuss is an expert on border security, Newsmax contributor and former acting CBP Commissioner Mark Morgan. Mark, welcome back to the show. I've seen a lot of you this week.
Yeah, I have. Hey, look, first of all, you're spot on. Look, it's even worse than that. But let's make sure these are not the career officials, right? These are not the men and women, on the line risking their lives every day for you and I and the rest of this country. These are the political appointees and top leadership within CBP that are allowing these career political appointees to really carve the message. Another thing that they don't talk about are the gotaways, because you have 50% of Border Patrol resources that are pulled off the line to process still what is catastrophic numbers, leaves large areas of border wide open. Number of gotaways are exponentially increasing, yet you don't hear them mention that. Look, I learned a long time ago in law school, the intentional omission of a material fact is the same thing as a lie. They're not telling you about the gotaways. These numbers are still catastrophic, and they're just continuing to mislead the American people.
The problem is, though, Mark, is that you have Republicans in office. I mean, we've called this how it is. We called it under Trump. Trump called it out. Trump actually went down there and did some. He started to build a freaking wall. And the problem is you have Democrats that raise such malarkey over all this stuff. You had AOC crying in front of an empty parking lot. You have all these people saying it's such a travesty. The real travesty, Mark, is the fact that when you have these open border policies, like we've discussed many times, you have coyotes, cartel, bad dudes taking advantage of these people that pay them thousands of dollars for a promise of hope to get across the border, and then they leave them stranded in the desert, and you have children unfortunately dying because of this.
You're absolutely correct. And look, there's many areas of hypocrisy and elements that get me frustrated, but you're spot on. I couldn't have said it better myself. The most inhumane thing that our country can do is have open border policies like we do right now. It encourages, incentivizes, and facilitates migrants to come here illegally, as you said, to put their lives in the hands of the cartels and the smugglers. Another thing the Secretary Mayorkas won't talk about, the president, are the hundreds of dead migrants. Yep. Dead migrants Border Patrol have found this fiscal year because of these open border policies, because they know if they get to our border illegally, they're going to be allowed in. So they're risking everything, including their lives. Or the 12,000 rescues that Border Patrol agents have risked their lives saving illegal aliens trying to illegally enter this country. And had they not risked their own lives, we would have seen thousands of migrants dead because of the open border policies. And we've talked about it before. You expand human trafficking, drugs are pouring in, gang members are pouring in, criminal aliens. Right. All of that is exponentially increased because of our open border policies.
And not to mention the things and people we're not catching coming through here. But look, Mayorkas, okay, this guy, I'm no fan of this dude. Why don't you listen to what he said over the holiday? Listen.
The other two bills protect and advance the interests of local law enforcement and firefighters, respectively, across the country. We advance the interests of our brave and heroic first responders everywhere.
I mean, he really choked that one out. We advanced the interest. I mean, what an insincere way to deliver the message. I mean, this guy doesn't give a darn about law enforcement. Look at how he's treating the men and women who he sends down there and then, takes away our horseback patrols. I mean, come on, man. I got about a minute left.
Yeah, can he be any more? The only person more robotic than him is President Biden right now. Look, you're absolutely right. He was the one that creates the architect of this catastrophic crisis. And then what does he do? He goes out and vilifies and attacks and scapegoats the very men and women he's put down there to try to make some correction of what they caused. Look, he's lost all confidence and trust in the American people and the men and women that he's supposed to serve.
Yeah, we just confirm people like this willy-nilly, and they get through the Senate, and they get there. Yeah, it's like Pete Buttigieg. The guy took 2 months off during I mean, you can't make that. This is just, I guess it's just par for the course. I shouldn't be surprised. But Mark Morgan, we appreciate you joining us today.
You bet. Thank you.
Grant Stinchfield is on Newsmax every night, fighting for the America First agenda.